Okay, so get ready for a deep dive into the wild world of the 2024 Indian elections. We've got excerpts from a book by Rajdeep Sardesai, a well-known Indian journalist. And trust me, things got really interesting. Buckle up.
It is fascinating how this book goes beyond just the surface. It really dissects all the intricate factors that actually shaped the election outcome. It's a real eye-opener.
Totally. So we're going to uncover the unexpected alliances,
Mm-hmm.
the narratives that really swayed voters. And believe me, there were a few aha moments for me while going through this. So let's start with Narendra Modi, the incumbent prime minister. It seemed like everyone was predicting a landslide victory for him, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Modi had cultivated this persona, right, of a strong man, a
Yeah.
decisive leader. And that appealed to a large section of the electorate. And leading up to the elections, certain events were very, very carefully maneuvered to really solidify this image. Take the inauguration of the Ram Mandir, for example.
The Ram Mandir inauguration. A momentous event for a lot of Hindus. It felt like a meticulously crafted spectacle, almost to present Modi as a kingly figure.
Exactly. It wasn't just a religious event. It was very much a part of a political strategy. I mean, and notice how no other major BJP leaders were even invited to share the stage. Then there was that iconic image of Modi waving the Indian flag during the Chandrayaan-3 moon landing while attending the BRICS summit, no less.
Oh, yeah. Now that you mention it, it does seem like his team strategically used these events to project an image of Modi as like the architect of this rising India. But the book suggests that this aura of invincibility might have actually worked against them. I have to admit, that's a bit counterintuitive.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Sardesai recounts these anecdotes that suggest that Modi's team grew overconfident, almost dismissive of any criticism. There's this one striking moment in the book where someone raises concerns about their 400-plus seat slogan, this very bold claim about winning an overwhelming majority. And Modi's response, "Do you think I would have reached here if I was susceptible to pressure?"
Wow. Talk about self-assurance. So even as Modi projected this image of strength, there were cracks beneath the surface. I'm curious, what were some of the internal challenges that the BJP was facing?
Well, you can't discuss the BJP's election strategy without talking about Amit Shah, Modi's right-hand man. He's known for his really sharp political maneuvering, almost like a modern-day Chanakya, the historical figure famous for his strategic thinking. And Shah was tasked with delivering the victory. And initially, things seemed to be going pretty smoothly.
Yeah, I did come across a passage about Shah's early days as a student politician,
Oh.
where he orchestrated this really clever, albeit slightly manipulative, plan to win a college election. Seems like he's always had a knack for strategy.
Yeah, it shows his strategic prowess for sure. But even the most skilled strategists can't always predict every twist and turn. As the election progressed, Sardesai paints this picture of growing unease within Shah's camp. He even recounts an incident where a BJP official noticed Shah's fatigue and like a noticeable dip in his confidence as election day neared.
So even behind that facade of confidence, there were signs of worry. What factors do you think contributed to this shift in mood?
Well, the Adani factor played a significant role for sure. The Hindenburg report accusing Gautam Adani of financial fraud really sent shockwaves through the country. And Adani is perceived to be very close to Modi, so these accusations inevitably spilled over into the political arena.
Right, and that's when Rahul Gandhi, the Congress leader,
Mm-hmm.
he really seized the moment. His slogan, "Ye Adani ki Sarkar Hai," meaning this is Adani's government, became this powerful rallying cry for the opposition. It really put the BJP on the defensive.
Yeah. While Modi himself never directly addressed the allegations, the BJP seemed visibly rattled. Then there was the whole episode of Rahul Gandhi's disqualification from parliament and his subsequent eviction from his official residence.
It did feel like a political miscalculation, even to those who weren't necessarily Gandhi supporters. The move seemed to backfire, generating this wave of sympathy for Gandhi, even among some who might have traditionally voted for the BJP.
Absolutely. This seemingly insignificant event inadvertently breathed new life into the opposition, really paving the way for the formation of the NDA alliance, this coalition of opposition parties united against Modi.
So on one side, we have Modi, this seemingly unshakable force grappling with these unexpected challenges. And on the other, we see the opposition energized by this newfound unity. It sets the stage for a pretty captivating political battle, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and this is where things get even more intriguing. The election, as you'll see, became a battleground of key states, each with its own dramatic narrative that ultimately impacted the outcome. We'll delve deeper into these state-level contests, exploring how local issues and alliances really shape the national picture.
This is definitely shaping up to be a roller coaster ride. I can't wait to unpack what happened in those key states.
Stay tuned, because the story is about to get much more interesting as we explore the political landscape of these crucial battlegrounds. You might be surprised by the unexpected alliances and the local factors that tip the scales in one direction or another.
All right, so we've got this image of Modi as this unstoppable force, but we also know there were cracks within the BJP and a revitalized opposition. I'm on the edge of my seat here. What happened when the votes were actually counted?
Well, the results were definitely not what a lot of people had anticipated. The BJP did win, but their majority was significantly smaller than predicted. And this outcome really underscores how crucial those state-level battles were.
So even with Modi at the helm, it wasn't a clean sweep for the BJP. What were some of the key states that surprised everyone?
Uttar Pradesh, for one. It's the most populous state in India and often considered a political bellwether. The BJP had been incredibly successful there in previous elections, but this time around they faced a much tougher fight.
That's interesting, especially considering how UP was really at the heart of the Ram Mandir movement,
Yeah.
which, as you explained, was very carefully leveraged by the BJP. What caused this shift in the political landscape?
Well, Sordesai's book points to a really fascinating development, a tactical alliance between Dalit and Muslim voters, who traditionally voted for different parties. This alliance proved to be a real game changer, particularly in Uttar Pradesh.
So even in a state where the BJP had seemingly strong support, local alliances and shifting voter dynamics played a crucial role. What about other key states?
Maharashtra was another interesting case. Remember that intense family rivalry we discussed, the one between Sharad Pawar and his nephew Ajit Pawar?
What, the one that split the Nationalist Congress Party? It felt like a political drama unfolding in real time.
Exactly. And it had really significant consequences. The BJP had hoped to benefit from this split, but it actually backfired. They ended up losing several seats, and the NDA alliance, despite its internal conflicts, managed to hold its own. It really highlights how even the best-laid plans can go awry in this unpredictable world of politics.
It's a reminder that these personal ambitions and rivalries can have a ripple effect on the entire political landscape. Now, we know the BJP had high hopes for West Bengal as well. But things didn't quite go their way there, did they?
No, they didn't. They were hoping to capitalize on the momentum from the previous election, but their expectations were ultimately dashed. There's this almost comical anecdote in the book about their failed attempt to bring the former cricketer Sourav Ganguly into politics.
A cricketer entering the political arena, that would have been quite a story. Why do you think it didn't work out?
Well, it seems that Ganguly himself was a bit hesitant to get involved in the already complex and volatile political scene in West Bengal. Even someone with his star power seemed to recognize the risks associated with aligning himself with a particular party, especially in a state where political loyalties run so deep.
It speaks volumes about the political climate that even a beloved figure like Ganguly chose to stay away. It makes you wonder, what were the underlying factors that led to these unexpected outcomes for the BJP, especially in states they consider their strongholds?
That's where the book really dives deep. It argues that beyond the grand narratives and all the political maneuvering, it was the local issues that truly resonated with voters. Things like unemployment, corruption, the lingering resentment over the farmers' protests, all of these played a really crucial role in shaping voter sentiment.
So it wasn't just about Modi's charisma or the BJP's promises. The everyday realities and concerns of people on the ground actually had a significant impact.
Absolutely. Take Uttar Pradesh, for example. The book highlights how the BJP faced setbacks, even in symbolic locations like Ayodhya, the very heart of their Ram Mandir campaign. Even in Varanasi, Modi's own constituency, his victory margin was significantly reduced.
That's a powerful statement. It suggests that even in areas considered BJP bastions, voters were looking beyond the symbolism and focusing on tangible issues.
Precisely. And this pattern wasn't limited to the big states. The book also discusses the emergence of these new leaders who capitalized on local discontent. For instance, in Kashmir, engineer Rashid, an independent candidate who was actually contesting from jail, won a significant number of votes.
Wow, contesting an election from jail. That's quite a story. What does that tell us about the political climate in Kashmir?
Well, it highlights the deep-seated frustration and anger that many people felt towards the establishment. Rashid's victory, despite his imprisonment, was a powerful symbol of dissent. And then there's Akoijam in Manipur, a relatively unknown figure on the national stage who secured a surprise victory. His success points to the anger and disillusionment stemming from the government's handling of the ethnic violence in the state.
So even in a national election where a figure like Modi dominates the narrative, These local issues and the emergence of new voices had a considerable impact. What I'm getting from all this is that the BJP's victory, while significant, wasn't the clear mandate they might have hoped for.
Exactly. And this leads us to a very intriguing aspect of the story. The Congress Party's performance. Despite their internal struggles and their limited resources, they actually performed better than expected in certain states.
I remember reading about their success in Rajasthan, where they managed to win a decent number of seats despite facing all sorts of challenges.
Right. And this raises a really interesting question. Could the Congress have performed even better on a national level if they had been more united? And if they had more strategically deployed their resources? It's a tantalizing what if that the book leaves us pondering.
It makes you wonder about the potential for the opposition if they could just overcome their internal divisions and present a more unified front. So we have a BJP victory, but with a reduced majority, a Congress party showing some glimmers of potential, and these local issues emerging as really crucial factors. Where do we go from here? What does this all mean for the future of Indian politics?
Well, that's what we'll be exploring in the final part of our deep dive. We'll delve into the aftermath of this election, examining the shifts in power dynamics, the challenges and opportunities for both the ruling party and the opposition, and really the broader implications for the future of democracy in India. Buckle up, because the story is far from over.
We've seen how the 2024 Indian elections played out a victory for the BJP, but with a reduced majority. It suggests that maybe the political landscape is a bit more dynamic than a lot of people assumed. And I'm curious what happened after the dust settled. Did this outcome change anything within the BJP?
Well, it's interesting how this election really seems to have recalibrated perceptions of Modi. Remember that image of him as almost invincible, almost godlike. Well, the book argues that the 2024 results kind of forced a shift, a subtle dialing down of that persona.
So less of the divine rhetoric and a move towards maybe a more grounded approach.
Exactly. There are even instances where the RSS, the ideological parent of the BJP, expressed concerns about Modi's style. Their chief, Mohan Bhagwat, made some pretty pointed remarks about the importance of humility and decorum in public life.
Open critique from the RSS, that's not something you hear every day. It suggests that even within the BJP's support base, there were questions about Modi's approach. What about within the party itself? Did this election lead to any internal shifts?
Well, Sardesai suggests that there is this growing sentiment within the BJP, that maybe that Modi-Shah dominance might need to be reevaluated. Other leaders are seemingly looking for a greater voice in decision-making, a move away from that highly centralized power structure.
So less of a one-man show.
Potentially. There's this very telling anecdote in the book about the appointment of the Gujarat chief minister back in 2022. Even senior BJP leaders like Narendra Tomar were apparently kept in the dark about Modi's choice until the very last minute.
It kind of paints a picture of a party where a lot of people are hesitant to challenge the established order, even when there are doubts. But if the 2024 elections showed us anything, it's that even the most dominant figures are not immune to challenges. What about the opposition? Did they manage to capitalize on this shift in power dynamics?
That's where the story gets a bit more complicated. The NDA alliance, despite showing initial promise, ultimately struggled with internal divisions.
Oh, right. Like how Nitish Kumar broke away from the alliance and realigned with the BJP. That felt like a pretty significant setback for the opposition.
Yeah, it was definitely a blow to their unity and their momentum. And then there were the tensions between the Congress and Mamata Banerjee's TMC, which led to them contesting the elections separately in West Bengal.
The age-old story of political maneuvering and competing ambitions. It makes you wonder if true unity within the opposition is even possible.
It's a valid question, and the book doesn't offer any easy answers. But despite these challenges, there were these glimpses of hope for the opposition. The Congress, even with their limited resources and their internal conflicts, demonstrated resilience in certain states.
Right. And we can't forget about those individual victories. Engineer Rashid in Kashmir, Khoijam, and Manipur, it shows that even in a system dominated by these powerful parties, there's still space for those alternative voices to emerge.
Absolutely. And perhaps the most crucial takeaway from the 2024 elections is this undeniable power of local issues. Voters clearly paid attention to the things that directly impacted their lives. Unemployment, corruption, ethnic tensions, these are often the deciding factors, even in the face of national narratives and charismatic leaders.
So it wasn't just a referendum on Modi or a battle between political giants. It was this complex interplay of factors really rooted in the realities of people's everyday lives.
Precisely. And this has some really profound implications for the future of Indian politics. The BJP, despite its continued dominance, can't afford to be complacent. They need to address those everyday concerns and be more inclusive in their decision-making if they want to maintain their hold on power.
And for the opposition, the challenge remains. Building a truly united front, focusing on those local issues, and offering a credible alternative to the BJP's narrative. Do you think they can succeed?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The 2024 elections provided a blueprint highlighting both the potential and the pitfalls for both sides. It's a reminder that Indian politics is constantly evolving, and the future is far from certain.
That's what makes it so captivating, right? It's a story that's still being written,
Yeah.
full of twists, turns, and unexpected outcomes.
Exactly. And as we move forward, the question remains, what path will Indian politics take? Will the BJP adapt and consolidate its power? Or will a revitalized opposition seize the opportunity to reshape the narrative?
Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see how this story unfolds. But one thing's for sure, it's a reminder that even in a system seemingly dominated by powerful figures, change is always possible. Local issues matter, alliances shift, and new voices can emerge. It reminds us that the power ultimately lies with the people.
That's a powerful thought to end on, and it really underscores the importance of staying informed, engaged, and ready to participate in shaping the future, not just in India, but in every democracy around the world.
Well said. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the 2024 Indian elections. It's been a fascinating journey unpacking the complexities, the surprises, and the enduring lessons of this pivotal moment in Indian democracy.
It was a pleasure. And as always, we encourage you to continue exploring, questioning, and engaging with the world around you.